A Kenyan Shujaa making history beyond Kenya's borders. Let's stick with the heroes for a moment. The independence struggle has largely been credited to the MAUMAU. But there were those who stood up to the British Colonial Masters even before the state of emergency was declared. Elijah Masinde was among the very first. We now go back in time to tell the lesser-known story of a man from a small Bukusu village, Kimilili, in Bungoma County, who wanted the British colonialists to leave and for Africans to worship their own God.
In 1943, colonial Kenya, a man and all-star football player barely 35 with the name of a biblical fiery prophet begins a movement, Dini ya Msambwa, which in English means the religion of ancestors or departed spirits. He believed that God visited him from Sayoni, Mount Elgon, to inform all the Bukusu people to believe in the spirit of the Musambwa, not to wear the clothes of the Europeans, to hate the Europeans, and at the end of the world they would enter heaven. Over the years, he draws support from many ethnic groups in Western Kenya, Nyanza and beyond, the Abaluya, Suk, Turkana, Samburu, Teso, Gusii and Nandi. His influence spreads further to a number of areas in eastern Uganda, including Bumbo, Bulucheke, Bupoto and Mbale. His name, Elijah Masinde. The struggle for independence in the British East African Protectorate that came to be known as Kenya is largely accredited to the MAUMAU. But they were not the only ones who fought for independence. In this shrine lies Elijah Masinde, a man born in 1908, and he was among the very first to stand up to the British colonial government and say, enough. During the colonial period, members of his sect refused to cooperate with the colonial government policies, whether it was agricultural innovation or recruitment for the Second World War. They harassed settler farmers with strikes for better pay and working conditions, go-slows and absenteeism from all things Western, and threatening letters ordering them to get out of Kenya. Masinde believed that by worshipping the spirits of their ancestors who had died so valiantly taking a stand against the British, the Europeans would be driven away from the land. Their struggle was largely unarmed, but in 1948, even before the state of emergency was declared, the government proscribed the movement, now of thousands and more politically subversive. Richard Wafula Elijah Masinde is 73, the eldest son of Elijah, and he holds on to his father's flame. He is the custodian of a shrine in Kimilili, Bungoma. He says the British robbed his father the privilege of watching his son become a man.
Kweli waliua watu wake Malikisi. Wakati alitoka huko akarudi Chetambe, akasema sasa watu wangu walikufa Chetambe kwa vita hii, na sisi tutafanya nini? Na Mungu wewe mwenyewe ulimtuma. Sasa huyu mtu anatakiwa afungwe. Wakamchukua, wakampeleka korokoroni. Wapeleka yeye Masari. Wakasema huyu mtu wa simu. Na yeye si mtu wa simu, kwa sababu aliitwa na Mungu.
James Bandi Shimanyula, a historian chronicling the history of the Musambwa, says many of them were looked down upon because of their conscience in Musambwa and of their refusal to renounce Masinde and their God Were.
Sikukuwa ati yeye ni Mungu. Yeye Mungu alimutuma. Tena yeye sikupigania ati yeye apate uhuru. Yeye alitaka apate uhuru wa Afrika wapate uhuru wenyewe wawe wakubwa.
In 1961, Elijah Masinde was released to a hero's welcome. Masinde Muliro, one of the first Africans to be elected into the African Legislative Council, was chief in that campaign. He desired to unite Kanu and Kadu, but as independence was drawing near, regions that were his stronghold also began to turn against him. 1963, his dream of independence was realized, but soon the shiny freedom he always believed in rusted before his very eyes. October 25, 1968, his movement was proscribed and declared dangerous to the good government of Kenya. June 1972, a Kitale court sentenced Masinde to a 6-year imprisonment for being a member of an unlawful society, a hardcore criminal. He was released in 1975. To the years following and to his death, due to illness in 1987, he remained a central figure, revered, and his sect at the same time followed and shunned by many. His followers believed he could prophesy and that he had powers to heal and point out witches.
Alikuwa na ujungu. Mtu kama unakufa, alikuwa na ujungu. Jasho ilitoka kama maji. Alikufia kwa miguu yangu.
He lies here in this shrine, and many come to pay homage to a man who just wanted the British to go away and freedom. But his family says Masinde was betrayed by all the governments that came after independence, that they never accorded him the honor and status he deserved as a hero. Living in abject poverty, they wonder why MAUMAU fighters are helped in all possible ways, but Musambwa leaders are poor with low education.
Sisi hatakipata kitu chochote ati wamesaidia Elijah kama alipikania uhuru. Hata ngali tunalia. Watu walinyang'anya mashamba yetu hii. Watu walirudia kwa sababu walikuwa hakuna baba, mama. Sasa mama atafanya nini?
Babu yangu ni shujaa kwa sababu sisi tunaamini alikuwa anafanya kazi kwa watu, watu wanakuwa kucha pamoja na sisi.
Though he worked hard towards freedom, he is largely unknown now. His followers continue to fan his flame, a candle that was blown out, but his fire, they say, will never be put out. Dorcas Wangira, KTN News, Kimilili, Bungoma County.